I was thinking, just something that's just kind of on my mind today. But every minute in life that that you choose to spend being angry or I don't know, worried or anxious, right? Is kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of a lost opportunity to be happy. It's a lost opportunity to be relaxed, you know, and enjoying the moments in life instead of stressing through them, you know. So, I don't know, just something kind of crossed my mind. I think everybody should, keep in mind when they're living, this thing we call life. Um, with that being said, what's up, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in. If you're new to the chat, my name is Cloudy Wingz. That's CLOUDY WINGZ. If you've never heard of me, you're about to. Let me see. I do a few things, but right now, I guess one of the other things I do is YouTube. So I have a YouTube channel under the same name, Cloudy Wingz, with 90,000 subscribers. It's just something I do, something I enjoy doing. Let's put it like that. So not just something I do, but something I enjoy doing. Because there's a lot of people who do shit, but don't even like fucking doing it. So I try to find the beauty in creation. I try to find the beauty in spreading positivity. I try to find the beauty in entertainment, comedy, and laughing through life. But I also have been a victim of being a pessimist. And if you don't know what a pessimist is, it's someone who sees just the bad in everything. It's like kind of like that glass half full, glass half empty type of vibe. It's everything that goes on in your life, for the most part, is based on your environment, yes, but it's also based on how you view the world, and the things you put out into the world as well. So, with that being said, today's stream is not going to be like the usual streams. There's not going to be like the usual Twitch streams either. There's not going to be gameplay, which I fucking love games, right? Video games. But, there's not going to be intense action, but it's going to be me, it's going to be you, and it's going to be a real ass conversation, right? And I've been thinking about a lot of shit, right? And in particular, this one shit that I've been thinking about. Something I feel like we all think about at some point in our lives. And that is, drum roll please, the meaning of life. Yeah. The meaning of life. And I know this is a big topic, right? It's kind of one of those things that can feel kind of overwhelming, especially when we try to put it into words. But I also think it's worth talking about. It's something that's definitely worth talking about. So you see, for a lot of us, the question of what's the meaning of life can kind of feel like it can kind of feel like a puzzle, an unsolvable puzzle, right? Because it's easy to get stuck on the idea that life should be something else, or that life should have some like ultimate purpose. Like there's a single definitive reason we're all here. And then sometimes we look for answers in places like philosophy, religion, or science. And there's nothing wrong with any of that, right? Nothing wrong with any of that. But there's something I kind of been like thinking about a lot, you know, and I'm not sure where I stand on it. I'm kind of still on the fence. But maybe the meaning of life isn't something you find while you're living. Maybe it's something you create, right? Maybe it's something you create in every like special moment and with every choice that you make in life. I'm a big believer that every choice you make in life either comes with a reward or a consequence, right? I don't think there's choices in life that are just stagnant. You just made a choice, whoop de wop, right? I feel like every decision made has some type of domino effect, whether it's a slight domino effect, really small, hardly noticeable, or it's fucking astronomically fucking huge, right? But I think in a way, the meaning of life isn't about. I don't think it's about finding like this huge purpose that's kind of handed to you, or that like it's God given, right? I think it's more about, and don't get me wrong, like having purpose in life is important, you know, very fucking important to me at least. But I think we kind of use finding purpose as like this thing to fill another thing up, you know, and life could be more about the little moments, you know, the connections we make, the things that inspire us, which could also lead back to, you know, your purpose. But, and then, you know, life could also be about the ways we affect the world around us. It could be about how we choose to live, how we choose to love, shit, how we choose to show up, even when things aren't easy. You know, I feel like, yes, purpose is great, but some people look at purpose as they look at the ultimate purpose as, do I have all the materialistic shit, right? And so that kind of takes a little bit of meaning from life. You know, if your purpose is solely based on a goal of getting all the flashy shit, you know, and that kind of just demeans the whole purpose of life. Now, I remember back in the day, like way back in the day, there was a time when I felt super lost. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, like at all. And then on top of not knowing what I was doing, I didn't know why the fuck I was doing it. And I think we all go through that. I think we all have like this section in our lives where we don't know what the fuck's going on. Usually, it's like somewhere between the teenage years and the early 20s to mid 20s, you know? Um, And it's like there's this pressure to have everything figured out, to know exactly where we're going. But excuse me, but what I've learned over the years is that life isn't about the destination. Like, man, it is so not about the destination. It's about the journey and the adventure that comes with the journey, man. You know, and I think what's meaningful is how we move through life, like how we handle the highs and how we handle the lows. And don't get me wrong, like I've definitely been guilty of handling the lows like complete shit. You know, like letting the lows define me, letting the lows make me depressed, letting the lows affect the rest of my life, and like, oh, this is it. Like, how am I gonna make it out of this? And then I look back on the low once I'm in a high point, and I'm like, damn, that really wasn't that fucking long. I figured it the fuck out. You know, that's also a part of being a man too, but that's a whole nother topic. But it's kind of it's kind of like how we make each moment count is what counts. You know, even when it feels like we're just kind of drifting through life. You know, like a piece of plywood in the fucking ocean. But there's also this beauty in the struggle, in the imperfection, in the naivety, or however the fuck you say it, and the not knowing, basically. You know, there's a beauty in that. You know, it's hard to find sometimes, but there's a beauty in that. And before we go on any further, man, let me know what y'all think. What does the meaning of life look like to y'all? Have you ever, I don't know, have you ever thought about life in a way that surprised you? You know, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so there's, I feel as though there's also something that, well, not feel, but I know that there's also something really important about understanding that we're not, no, I wouldn't say not alone, you know, because it can be easy to be alone. Like, all you have to do is stay in the fucking house, not talk to anybody, nigga, and just alienate yourself, and you're pretty much alone, right? But I feel like there's something important, really important, about understanding the people around us, you know, friends, family, even strangers, because we're all kind of connected in this shared experience. You know, not, I would say, okay, maybe not all of us. You know, like I don't want to feel like I'm connected to like the nigga who just ate some dude's ear off because he was high off of bath salts. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel connected to that nigga. Like, no, nigga, stay the fuck over there, right? But maybe part of life's meaning is found in how we lift each other up, how we help each other, how we listen to each other, how we communicate with each other, how we love each other. And not everybody I feel like deserves love. Don't get me wrong. There's some real shitty people out here, some actual evil people out here, right? But I think the way that we care for the people around us, you know, is where there's a lot of meaning. You know, obviously not in like I said before, like not in like the big like crazy shit that you can do for another person, but in the small like everyday type shit, you know. But when we're at our lowest points, I feel like that's kind of when we have the most potential to create meaning in our lives. I think meaning comes without even like asking for the shit or working for the shit. But at the end of the day, I don't really think there's a single answer. Like shit, everything I just said could be wrong because I'm not the guy who. Hey, shout out Pooter for the follow. You the goat. Appreciate you, big dog. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's a single answer. Like it's. I think it's something that I think the meaning of life is something that we all get to discover in our own like way. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe even invent it. Maybe we kind of invent our own meaning of lives for ourselves every fucking day. And that meaning of life may change over time to everybody. It may be subjective and it may stay the same, right? But maybe it's not. Maybe it's and maybe it's not even about finding the meaning of life, you know, but about creating it by being, not necessarily nice, but being kind when the situation calls for it, by learning, by growing, by evolving, by sharing, knowledge and stories and, just kind of sharing our lives with others. So so that's kind of where I'm at today, right? Life is messy, obviously. It's uncertain, duh. And sometimes it doesn't make sense at fucking all. But shit, that's all right. Maybe that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's the point. Like, maybe we're all just trying to figure it out together and not even realize that we're together, you know? First and foremost, so actually, before we dive into the second topic, because there is a second topic to today's stream, I just want to welcome everybody to the chat. I don't know why I got gas today, but I just want to welcome everybody to the chat. My name is Cloudy Wingz. That's CloudyWingz. I do a lot of other different things. One of those things being YouTube. I have a YouTube channel with 90,000 subscribers right now. Man, go check me out. I do lifestyle vlogs, a bunch of other stuff on YouTube, man. Go check me out, see if you like it, man, and shoot me a follow, man. Become a subscriber, bro. Like, because I promise you're gonna be entertained. You're gonna be, you're gonna learn a lot of shit. You're gonna have real ass conversations, you know. And yeah, man, that's my mission, man. So, man, come rock with your boy. But obviously today is a different kind of topic today. Like we do always have real ass conversations, but today is a different kind of topic. But we're gonna take a step away from what we were talking about earlier, right? And we're gonna dive into something a little bit deeper. So it may not be your usual vibe, but I want to talk about something I've been thinking about a lot lately. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick break. You already know how we get down. It's going to be a quick break, not even 5 minutes. So grab your favorite snacks, whether it be hot Cheetos or big ass hot jumbo pickles. You know what I'm saying? Like, grab your favorite snack, get comfortable, and man, we about to take it for a ride, man. I'll be right back. Testing, testing. 1, 2. All right, you guys. So I hope y'all got your favorite snacks. I hope y'all comfy and cozy and chilling. You know what I mean? Because we about to dive in, man. Okay. So the topic for this section is the nature of reality. And I know it sounds a bit heavy, right? Reality. What the fuck is that? Is it what we see? Or is there something more? Right? And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I kind of realize we probably don't even fully understand what reality is. When we talk about reality, we usually think of shit like the world around us. We usually think of shit like things we can touch, things we can see. And it's pretty, it's pretty straightforward, right? That's reality, But what if that's not the full picture? What if we're only given half the picture when we're born, or whatever moment in life when we start, like, being more in tune with human life? Like, what if we're only given part of the actual picture? What if reality is a lot more complicated than we think it is? Like, okay, what if it's not just about what's happening right now, right in front of us, but what if it's also about our perceptions, our beliefs, the way we kind of make sense of the world? What if this is all just a fucking glitch in the matrix? What if this is all just a fucking game? I can't think of a better term, but you know what I mean? Like, okay, so I remember, and I know I like to go back in time a lot. Well, guess what, Marty McFly? We're going back in time again. Or that would be Back to the Future. Shit. Anyway, you know, I remember a time in my life where I kind of started questioning everything around me. Like, on some real shit, I would look at a tree. Just for an example, I would look at a tree and wonder, is this tree really just a tree? Or is it a product of my mind? Is it a representation of something deeper than what I'm actually seeing? Is it alive? Or is it a part of the matrix? And I know I keep using the word matrix, and I'm only using that word for lack of a better term. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie with Katniss. Shit, I forgot the damn name of the movie. It's a book as well, but they're basically hunting each other. It's about kids who are chosen to hunt each other, and the winner gets to move on from poverty. Hunger Games. Hunger Games. I don't know why that didn't pop in my head at first. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Hunger Games or read the book. But if you have, there's this huge dome over the whole city, and nobody realizes it's a dome. They just think it's like clear sky, it's open sky, yada, yada, yada. Until one day, this girl gets pissed at, whoever's running the show, and she takes her bow and arrow and she shoots the fucking dome. Just fucking around, just pissed, right? And all of a sudden, the whole dome like shatters and it starts flickering and glitching and shit. And they see a whole nother world outside of this dome, right? That nobody knew fucking existed. And that's kind of what I mean by the Matrix. Not necessarily that exact kind of thing, but something like that. But back to the tree. So, I would think like, is it alive or is it a part of the Matrix? And I know it. What I'm talking about right now kind of sounds like this shit is something out of like a philosophy class in college or something. But honestly, that kind of questioning made me realize just how much we take for granted. You know, because we only experience the world through our own senses: smell, hearing, touch, seeing, whatever. And sometimes we kind of forget that these senses can be limited or even kind of deceptive. Like they can throw us in the wrong direction, or they're not even really what they seem to be, right? If that makes sense. And back in the day, like, like I've had different phases in my life, right? Just like how some people have like whole phases, some people have emo phases. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a phase in my life where I was just like questioning life, right? And it didn't last for very long because I had to get back to life. You know what I'm saying? I had to get back to living this shit, But, excuse me, I started reading a bit more into things like philosophy, things like quantum physics, and even psychology. And I kind of realized that reality is really subjective, because what's real to me might not be real to you, and what's real to you might not be real to someone else. And that's not to say that everything is made up. Like, that's not what I'm saying, but there's there's obviously something deeper than just the surface level of our everyday experiences. Okay, so think about this just for a second. Think about this just for a second. All we really know about reality is what our brains tell us. And of course, like, we see things in the movies and stuff like that, and like we see things with our eyes, we hear things with our ears, and we interpret everything through like our own filters. But in our reality, no pun intended, but in our reality, our senses have limits. We can't hear all frequencies, right? We can't even hear as good as dogs. We can't see, certain wavelengths of light. We can't even we can't even begin to fully understand the complexities of our own consciousness, like just of being alive. And then when you add things like dreams, the meaning of different dreams that we have, and who the hell even comes up with these goddamn meanings? Because who the fuck even knows, like, if that's what that means, right? But when you start adding that to the equation, like, dreams, imagination, even virtual reality to the mix, like VR, shit like that. The Apple headset thing. I can't think of it now. I don't even know why. The meta thing, whatever, right? When you add shit like that to the mix, you kind of start to realize that reality is more like a construction, right? It's more like it was like built. It's not just a passive thing that's quote unquote out there. It's something that we actively engage with, build, and sometimes even bend to our own will. You know what I'm saying? And that's something to think about. I don't know, but what do y'all think? Do you ever do you ever wonder do you ever wonder if I don't know, do you ever wonder if the world you experience is the same world someone else is living in? Like obviously there's different parts of the world, right? In different cultures and different things like that. But do you ever think that reality is something we're all just interpreting differently? Yeah, that's different. That's something different to think about. But so keep that on your mind, right? Keep that in the back of your mind, right? But let's take this time to dive even deeper for a sec. Like, okay, okay, I know you guys heard of me, or I know you guys heard me say quantum physics earlier, but have you ever heard of quantum physics? I know it sounds crazy, but bear with me real quick, just real quick. There's this concept called wave particle duality. And essentially, it has to do with particles like light that can act as both waves and particles depending on how we observe them. And that's mind bending, right? It depends on how we see them, how we observe them. That that kind of differentiates them being, you know, a wave or a particle or both. And when you think about shit like that, it challenges everything we think we know about the universe. It challenges everything we think we know about how the universe works. And it's almost like the act of like seeing changes. Like okay, it's almost like the act of like seeing something change the same way it behaves. If that makes sense. But that right there can kind of make you ask, is reality just the sum of what we see and observe? Or is it something that exists independently of us? You know what I mean? Um, and then, oh man, and then I just thought of this. And then there's time. We experience time as this like linear progression, I guess you could say, with past, present, future, right? There's kind of three different sections of time. But what if time isn't as like fixed as we think? What if like in the quantum world, you know, just bear with me, right? Like what if in the quantum world time is more fluid? like way up in space or in a whole nother dimension. What if time is more fluid? Something we experience, but not necessarily something that's objectively real. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some real life mind blowing shit. Like, my brain is literally about to fucking explode right now. And now that I think about it, now that I think about it, now that I think about it, there's some theories out there, mainly in physics, but there's some theories out there that suggest that time could kind of be an illusion, like a human, like some shit that was man made to help us make sense of the chaos. You know what I mean? Like all this shit around us, like clocking in, clocking out, fucking, even when there wasn't no jobs, you know what I'm saying? Like all the shit. You know what I mean? It's just kind of man made so that niggas feel more comfortable. But what if everything that's ever fucking happened or will happen is all existing at once and we're just kind of like moving through it, just kind of like floating through the shit. Like that would be fucking crazy. But who knows? We don't know. And I think maybe these questions will be answered in death. Maybe these questions will be answered for the next generation or the next generation or the generation after that, right? But as of right now, I believe we're in the 21st century, I don't actually fucking know. You know? I don't actually fucking know. But, oh man. Shout out Sailor Curse for the follow. I appreciate it, my man. Shout out, I don't know how to say your name, so I'm sorry if I butcher the shit. Shout out Paul Michael. I appreciate you for the follow. Shout out Glenn's Room 4. I appreciate the follow. And man, I'm excited to have you guys in on the conversation. If you're new to the chat, my name is Cloudy Wingz. I do a lot of different stuff. I do have a YouTube channel with 90,000 subscribers where I just make lifestyle vlogs. I'm a little bit newer to Twitch, but this is kind of my space, and this is kind of my space to, just have real conversations with real people, who either want to be more than what they see in the mirror or want to think deeper than what they hear, so that's kind of my vibe. But back to the conversation, man. Like, what if time is just constructed by humans, man, and it's kind of just this thing to help us make sense of all the shit that happens every day, man, imagine if like time just kind of just like everything's just all happening right now at once. That would be, man, like what the fuck. But anyway, that's a conversation for that part of the conversation. I think I would take, oh my God, I could talk about that for hours. I could talk about that specific part of this conversation. I could talk about for hours. It could lead to a conversation of death, a conversation of life and death. What happens after death. It could get deep. It could get real fucking deep. But just that specific part of what we've been talking about tonight is fucking wild, right? Like, the more I dig into this, the more I kind of realize that the way we see the world is shaped by our own minds, our beliefs, our emotions, even our past experiences. All of these things play a role in kind of creating our reality. So in a way, if you think about it, we're all living in our own unique versions of reality. it's not just some abstract idea, it's something we experience every fucking day. And that's, oh my God, like, I could talk about this for hours, man. And, and here's the thing that I've come to kind of understand. Okay, like, even though we all, even though we all experience reality in different ways, yada, 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 there's something powerful in those shared experiences. Like the fact that we can talk about these ideas that we're talking about right fucking now, the fact that we can connect with each other like we're doing right fucking now, even though we might see the world through different lenses, right? Because this is my world over here, but that's your world over there, and you're living it, right? And that's still a form of reality too, though. Like maybe the nature of reality isn't just about what exists out there. Maybe it's about how we interact with it, how we kind of make sense of everything together, if that makes sense. No pun intended. Hopefully I use that pun shit correctly. I'm not really good with the pun shit. But anyway, ultimately, I think that the nature of reality is something we can never fully. Well, no, I'm not gonna say never. Never is a big word, okay? But as of right now in the 21st century, I don't think that the nature of reality is something we're gonna be able to fully grasp. Because right now it's fluid, it's mysterious, and it's way more complex than we will understand right now in the 21st century. Maybe in the 22nd or 23rd century, you know, but maybe that's the beauty of it. Maybe the like, the quest, the journey to understand is what kind of makes reality so intriguing and fascinating in the first place. You know? Like, man. So no matter how you experience the world, no matter how you perceive the reality around you, just know that that's what's real to you, right? And that's enough. We're all in this together, figuring it out one moment at a time. With that being said, man, let's keep this conversation going. And you guys can comment in the chat. What do you think? Like, do you feel like reality is something we create? Do you feel like reality is something that exists outside of us? I'd love to hear y'all thoughts, man. And if not, no sweat. I just appreciate you being here. I just appreciate you being here, and thank you. Shit, thank you for hanging out. It's been a fucking incredible conversation. Incredible for real. Like, I'm mind blown right now, and I'm so glad we could kind of dive into this together, because I'd love to keep hearing your thoughts, and we can keep this conversation going on other platforms. Like, I do have an Instagram. I do have, a Facebook. You know what I mean? I do have Twitch. I do have another YouTube channel. It's called Cloudy Wingz Live, where I post all the clips from my lives, and man, I'd love to, keep the conversation going, because, like I said, I'd love to keep hearing your thoughts, and life's a journey, and we're all in it. We're all in this shit together, even if we're not together, you know what I mean? But the nature of reality, it's just a journey that we're all on, and I think that's what makes it so fascinating. But before we wrap shit up, I just want to remind you that no matter where you are in your own journey, in this reality, in this life, excuse me, you matter, whether you realize it or not. And you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And the way you live, the way you show up, that is what makes this reality that we call life meaningful. With that being said, thanks for joining me today. It's your boy Cloudy Wingz, CLOUDYWINGZ, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.